Hey everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Scuttle. I've been gone for about 5 years, but here I am back once again to make another episode. I'm going to teach you how to make a few easy, simple, and great recipes with pumpkin pie spice. That's what it's all about today. It's not about pumpkins or pumpkin pie, it's actually about the seasonings and the spices typically found in pumpkin pie. We're going to be using cinnamon, ground nutmeg, and ground cloves today. And I'm going to toss in a few other ingredients as well. So first off, we're going to make some pumpkin spice coffee. And I've always been a little concerned because the coffee never had enough coffee flavor. It was always overpowered by the spice. So I decided to make it on my own. So all you have to do that at home, it's very simple. Make coffee as you normally would. You just pour in the water in your regular coffee maker. Pour in the coffee. And then all you need are those spices as discussed earlier. So first we're just going to add just a sprinkle of cinnamon on top of the coffee grounds, right in the coffee maker. Just a small pinch of the ground cloves because they definitely carry some flavor there. Top it off with another pinch of ground nutmeg. Just a little bit more on the nutmeg for some perfect flavor. And then we brew as normal with a pot of coffee. And instead of just adding this stuff into coffee once it's brewed, if you brew it together, it blends better so that it's not floating in chunks on top of your coffee. And we're just going to let this do its thing, and we'll check on it once it's done. So next, I'm actually going to show you how to make some pumpkin spice pancakes. This is my special recipe, really. I've created this over the years, and it's developed a little bit. So what you want to do, ultimately you want to follow the package instructions on how to prepare the batter for your pancakes. But with this particular one, I'm going to need the all-purpose cooking mix, milk, 1 egg. I'm sweetening it with brown sugar and, of course, our pumpkin pie spices. I'm actually going to mix the dry ingredients first. That helps the brown sugar and everything else blend. So okay, so there goes the mix. You want to break up the brown sugar a little bit so it's not too clumpy. Get that right in there. And I use more cinnamon than I do the other dry ingredients for the spice. So there's quite a bit of cinnamon there. And of course, I just want a pinch, just a little bit. I'm using the spoon here, but just a little of the nutmeg and the cloves. Okay, I'm going to blend this up before I add the egg and the milk. Otherwise, it just becomes tougher to mix. So you get the clumps of brown sugar broken up. We've got all the dry ingredients blended. Okay. And so we can mix in the milk. There's that. And I'm going to crack the egg in. Okay, when we mix this, we don't want to blend, we don't want to overblend or overmix. We just want it mixed enough to get everything together without breaking up all the little clumps that naturally form with the baking mix. We still want to leave those clumps to give a nice consistency and thickness to our pancakes. There we go. That's about what we want. Almost like a cake batter, somewhat thick but not too thin. So we've got a good consistency for our batter. We've got it mixed. I'm going to let some air get to this, let it rise a little bit. And now I'm going to preheat this griddle. I'm going to go a slightly lower temperature. I'm not going to do like 350 or 375. I'm going to do just below that a little bit. Let that warm up here, and then we'll be ready to make our pancakes. So now that the coffee's done brewing, you can actually sweeten to taste, add cream or whatever you'd like. So at this point, you can make it your own. I'm just going to enjoy some coffee while finishing the pancakes. All right. So, as we said, the batter is good to go. So I'm just going to pour a little, can probably safely fit 3 good-sized pancakes on this. Okay, so what we're looking for here is we want the outsides to dry up a little bit, and we want to see bubbles forming on the inside. And our goal here is to only flip 1 time. We don't want to flip and flip several times to make sure it's cooked thoroughly, because then that ends up with a tough pancake. It thins it out a little bit, and it just doesn't taste as good. We want nice, rich, thick, fluffy pancakes. We put all this work into it, so it better be good. So we do actually have some pretty good bubbles developing here. It looks like these are just about ready to flip. Okay, so I'm going to loosen it, free it from the grill, and gently flip. And we've got a nice golden brown color here. And I'm going to form it up, make sure it's round still, and let that cook the rest of the way through. All right, so these, now you see them starting to rise even more as they trap in those bubbles. We're almost done with our first batch. I hope you're hungry. Okay, I would say these are just about ready to take off the grill. So I'm going to gently release them and put them onto the plate. Okay, look at that, very nice. I can smell the spices too. So another thing you can actually add these spices to is oatmeal. So prepare how you normally would, whether it's microwaved or stovetop, and it really adds a nice flavor instead of relying on the flavored oatmeals you can buy at the store. I like to just add some brown sugar also. So I put in, that sweetens it up, a good amount of brown sugar. Can't forget the cinnamon. I'd say one of the best things you can put on oatmeal right here. Lots of good flavor. And just a little of the other 2. Probably really light on the close here. Okay. So we're going to let the sugar sort of dissolve a little bit. Let it cook down as the heat comes off the oatmeal. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and mix it up, and don't burn yourself when you get this. I always do. So there we have pumpkin spice oatmeal. So to conclude everything today, this is for the adults only, 21 plus of course. So I'm going to teach you guys how to make a couple drinks using some of the ingredients earlier. And in addition to these spices, we need the eggnog, seasonal beer, Oktoberfest is my preference, whipped cream, and our pumpkin spices for this particular drink, spiced rum, and also a little coffee liqueur. So to start, I haven't really come up with a name for this yet, but we're going to take a glass of your choice, breaking out the eggnog. It's not even Christmas season yet. Okay, we're going to pour some eggnog here in a glass. And then take your favorite seasonal beer, pumpkin ale, Oktoberfest, or whatever it may be. Don't break out the winter ale yet. And pour this over a spoon to layer it right on top of the eggnog. So we're going to gently pour that in. Okay. Leave a little room for the froth. Top that with whipped cream. And again, with our pumpkin spices. So we've got a little cinnamon, nutmeg, ground cloves. Okay. And for our second drink of the day, for those who prefer straight up liquor, this is my variation, the seasonal variation of a White Russian, which is my favorite drink. So in a standard shaker with some ice, we're going to pour the coffee liqueur. And instead of vodka, we're using the spiced rum. Top with some eggnog instead of milk or cream. Give it a good shake. Gotta go over your shoulder like they do in the movies. Okay, maybe a little more. Pour in a glass over ice. Look at that, it actually looks like a White Russian. Tastes a little different though. And pinch of spice to top it all off. There we have our two adult beverages with a twist of pumpkin spice. Thank you for joining me today. Tune in next time and I'll teach you how to make something else. Ow, it's hot. This will be good for the outtakes later.
Oh yeah. Food porn.